Yo ho everybody and welcome to another edition of Yinzer on Hockey. Before we begin, make sure you go down below, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, follow me on all the social medias listed in the description. I cover all 31 NHL teams. If you're a hockey fan like me, stay tuned, I got content for you. So today we're going to continue our series on upcoming free agency, and we are going to take a look at the who I believe to be the 5 best available defensemen in the open free agent market. Number 1 on this list is not surprising. It is John Carlson, who has spent his entire career with the Washington Capitals. 608 games, 77 goals, 256 assists, and 333 points. He's a guy that plays point on the top power play unit. He kills penalties. You can have him out at any critical juncture of any game. He's got the versatility to be there in any situation. He is a guy that's going to garner a lot of attention from any defense-needy team. Teams like Toronto, who had a pretty weak defense, the New York Islanders, obviously are going to be seeking to upgrade their defense. The New Jersey Devils could also be looking at a top-end defenseman. So any of those teams have the potential to target a guy like John Carlson. Number 2 on my list is Mike Green. Spent this past season with the Detroit Red Wings. A large portion of his career with the Washington Capitals. He is 32 years old. Currently has a salary cap in the $6 million a year. And I look for him to probably have to take a little bit less. I don't think he's going to get back to the $6 million a year mark at this stage in his career. Didn't have a great year with Detroit, but all things considered, nobody in Detroit really had a great year. So it's possible maybe he's due for a rebound year. 787 career games, 142 goals, 322 assists, 464 points. He's a guy that also can play a lot of power play time. He has 61 career power play goals, so very effective on the power play, running point on a top power play unit. Again, a lot of these defense-needy teams, and depending on what the market is going to be set for defensemen, I spoke in a video earlier today about the Oliver Ekman-Larsson contract at $8.25 million a year. Any guys, in this upper tier of defensemen, probably going to be looking anywhere from $7 to $8 million. I don't think Mike Green's on that level of defenseman anymore. Although I guess $5 to $6 million wouldn't be overpaying for a guy like him. Number 3 on my list of defensemen is Calvin Haan of the New York Islanders. I spoke before about the Islanders needing to upgrade their defense, and I think they're probably going to do this by letting Calvin Haan walk. 304 games played, 12 goals, 69 assists, 81 points, so he's not overly effective offensively, but plays a very, very good defensive game. He's able to move the puck really well, so that's something that you can utilize a guy like this for. More suited for a bottom 4 type defenseman. Probably best suited for a third pairing, but you can rely on him to come up and play in the top 4 if you need him to. So a guy like that, teams like Pittsburgh and Washington, if Carlson has to leave, teams like that are going to be looking to retool their defense versus overhaul their defense entirely. Those are teams that I see a guy like Calvin Haan possibly showing some interest in, and possibly showing some interest in him as well. Number 4 for me is John Moore, currently under contract with the New Jersey Devils. He's been around for a bit, so he's got 447 games played, 32 goals, 67 defensemen. 67 assists for 99 points. He's a guy that is definitely more known for his physicality and for his ability to play in his own zone. He's a guy that's ate up a lot of minutes for New Jersey in the past. still has that top 4 potential. Again, I think New Jersey's going to be looking to kind of find a number 1 defenseman, and John Moore's probably going to draw the short stick there. So he's a guy. Again, you look at the Pittsburghs, Washingtons. Vegas could use a guy like John Moore, but I think Vegas is going to be more in the top end market. So other teams, Toronto is going to show interest in a guy like John Moore to help bolster their defense, because they are more in need of a defensive style defenseman with the number of shots they gave up this year. So John Moore is a guy that would fit into a role like that, and he's a guy that only 27 years old. He could still grow into a bigger role, and see where he lands then if he's placed in a bigger role. Number 5 for me is Jack Johnson of the Columbus Blue Jackets. I think he's made his intent very clear that he is not going back to the Columbus Blue Jackets. He spent a lot of time this year as a healthy scratch. I think they scratched him like 5 games this year. And to me, as a guy that was used to playing top pair minutes, to be a healthy scratch, that goes to show you that the relationship is irreconcilable. So he is. I don't know what a guy like Jack Johnson can demand if he was on the outs with Columbus like that. Is it his attitude? Is it his work ethic? What the issue may have been with Columbus? That's something that may never be revealed. In his career, he's played 788 games, 66 goals, 212 assists, 278 points. He's a guy that's played some top power play minutes, 28 goals and 119 assists on the power play, or 119 total points on the power play. So he's a guy that has that potential to come in and play the point if you need him to. 31 years old. Last year's salary hit was about $5 million. He's probably going to stay in that same range, $4.5 to $5 million, if a team views him as a top 4 guy, and they're going to have to do a lot of homework, communicating back and forth with the Columbus organization to try and find out what exactly you're getting with Jack Johnson. I think he is a great player if his mind is right. And this year, obviously, a down year for him. 3 goals, 8 assists for a total of 11 points in 77 games. So that was in a much lesser role than he had been used to. So we'll see what he does to bounce back and where he could land. Maybe bringing him into a team like Arizona that's young and on the up and coming path might be a good fit for him. He's probably going to have to go to a team with a lot of cap space if he's looking to maximize his value. I know there was some stories years back that his parents and financial advisors in the past had went through all of his earnings, and he was in a bad situation, had to file bankruptcy. So he's probably going to be looking for maximum value versus opportunity. And to me, that opens up the market for him a bit more to be out there talking to all the available teams to see what's out there for him. He's a guy that's probably not going to have his pick of the litter, but he's a guy that's going to have the flexibility to go into any situation without the promise of winning championships, without the even if he has to go like shorter on term for more guaranteed upfront money to try and get out of his financial situation. I don't know what that currently is, but we'll see what he does next year. So that's my top 5 available defensemen in the free agent market. There's a few noticeable omissions, like Ian Cole, who's probably seems like he's going to re-sign in Columbus, so that's why I left somebody like him off of the list. And the free agent class for defensemen is not great this year, like it was last year. There was a few other more notable free agent defensemen out there last year, and along with next year's possibility for free agent defensemen. You may not see any of these top tier defensemen be signed to very lengthy contracts because possibility of Drew Doughty being an unrestricted free agent next year. Erik Carlson could possibly be an unrestricted free agent next year, so I'm sure teams will keep that in mind as they're talking to these defensemen this year. Let me know in the comments below what teams have a major need for defense. Where do you see any of these guys landing? What other notable free agent defensemen are out there, and where could they possibly go? I'd love to have conversations in the comments below. Let me know what you guys think. Be sure to hit like and subscribe, and thanks for watching.